We are back, Everstrong family, and now we get to examine 1 Corinthians 7. So, different from the previous chapters that focused on sexual immorality, this chapter was a great change of pace, and it's now focusing on sexual morality. Paul was an amazing teacher. He did not believe in sweeping anything under the rug, no matter how difficult it is or awkward it was to address. And while I know it's kind of difficult to talk about sex in church, it is a good thing. It was created by God. And it's not just for procreation. God created it as a beautiful symbolic act of two souls being intertwined into one flesh. The only thing is, Satan likes to pervert things God makes as holy and beautiful, so we would shy away from them, or so we wouldn't follow God's way of doing things. Do not allow that to happen to your heart. Sex is good, as long as it's within the confines of a godly marriage. The verses that I want to look at are verses 1 and 2, and then 8 and 9. And let's just jump into that. We'll discuss it right afterwards. So now regarding the questions you asked in your letter, yes, it is good to abstain from sexual relations. But because there is so much sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman should have her own husband. Verse 8 and 9. So I say to those who aren't married, and to widows, it's better to stay unmarried, just as I am. But if they can't control themselves, they should go ahead and marry. It is better to marry than to burn with lust. You need to have a little context for what he's saying, because I know this is a kind of discouraging verse for a lot of youngsters in the church. Firstly, Paul, before he became a Christian, was a devout Pharisee. His entire life was focused on God and his kingdom. And when he became a Christian, he was a devout Christian. His entire life was focused on God and his kingdom. That was his life. His career, his every day was focused on God. And what he is saying here is that when you get married, you inevitably have children, and your priorities are going to change. But as a Christian, we're going to face persecution, trials and tribulation in this life that earthly people won't. And he's saying that your priorities need to be focused on God. Is he saying that marriage and sex and having babies is wrong? No, not at all. He knows. Paul isn't wise enough to know all of those things were created by God as being holy and good. He is just simply saying that if you wish to live a life 100% fixed on God's kingdom, you should not marry or have children if you can abstain from having sex. Now, I know a lot of youngsters who are getting married or just entering the church are kind of getting discouraged. Well, should I not be married? Should I not have babies? No, not at all. God created those things. They are good and perfect and holy. God wants you to have babies. He wants you to have a spouse, a helpmate. But Paul is just addressing the people who are saying they want to focus their lives on God entirely. So if you feel that God has called you to be a spouse, to be a parent, go with that. Just remember to put God first in your family. God bless you.